Hi, everyone. I am Zachary Hennenden, editor-in-chief of the LSMG Ledger and the host of the Last Shot podcast. We're broadcasting live from the 2026 Tribeca Festival, and today we are diving deep into the psychology of elite sports with award-winning New York filmmaker, writer.
Hello, it's great to be here.
Misha. Fault explores the intense, suffocating power dynamics, systematic abuse, and buried trauma within professional athletics, and themes that hit with the incredible force. Misha, thank you so much for sitting down with us today on our podcast.
Yeah, my pleasure. Have you managed to check out the film yet?
I have checked out a little bit of the film. My co-host finished the film and told me it was a very, very great film. He's actually in New York right now. I kind of wanted him to do an in-person interview, but he had a lot of stuff going on.
No problem.
So let's dive down into the questions. You noted that Fault was heavily inspired by the real-life personal experience of your lead actress and story co-creator, Coco Jordana. What was the collaborative process like translating her raw personal history into a fictional sports drama?
Well, she knew she wanted to make a movie about her situation with something that happened with a family member, and she went to her sister and tried to talk about it, and her sister was like, "No, that didn't happen."
Mhm.
And Coco was like, okay, this is really weird and awkward and devastating." She initially was gonna do a kind of a different story and different setting for it, like in terms of translating the story. And then I came on, and she was trying to write it, but she's not a writer, so she was facing a lot of frustration trying to, take such a sensitive topic and translate it to the page. But I've been writing for a long time, and I'm a friend of hers for a long time, so I was like, hey, let me direct it, and let me take a crack at the script, and we'll see how we go. And so I went off and did my thing and took all the drafts. Whenever there was a good draft, I would ask her, "Hey, read this. What do you think?" And we talk about it, and then I'd go and rewrite it, and we did that like 15 times. And eventually we landed with the script that we have.
Okay, and by being a woman filmmaker and getting your film to Tribeca, how would you want to inspire future generations or younger generations of women, or what do you want this to convey to women?
Well, I think that anyone can do anything, and gender really doesn't matter. Um, I try not to think about it. There's all sorts of limiting factors that we could bring into the room with us, all the time. It depends on who you are, but I think
Mhm.
the more you focus on those limiting factors, the more limited you are. So if you're a woman, I just would tell you, don't worry about it. Just do what you're gonna do. I mean, my maybe I'm privileged because I have a number of privileges, but as a woman, my
Yes.
attitude is get out of the way. Like anytime I meet someone who is trying to give me some negativity or, oh, that's really hard or oh, that's never going to happen. Move,
Yeah.
get out of my way.
Yes. Yes. Don't want that around you at all because
Yes.
negativity definitely brings down your mood and it just messes stuff up. The film places its characters in the world of elite professional tennis right on the eve of the US Open. What made the aesthetic isolation of a tennis court the perfect physical metaphor for an athlete dealing with a controlling coach?
Well, you nailed it. As a singles sport, I mean, you can play doubles too, but as a single player, it can be very, very isolating. And it's like you and it's your coach. And in that relationship where you have one person who you look up to who is like, kind of guiding you and dominating you in some senses, that's where that abuse of power can really happen. And we see like it's an epidemic. Look
Yes.
at the Olympics. Look at it doesn't matter the gender. It's like especially women because there's other factors there, but it happens to so many people in so many different sports. And of course, not sports, the freaking Epstein files, like
Yeah.
people, have not gone to jail for that.
At all, actually.
At all. Like one and a half people who may or may not be dead.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just insane to me that this bigger system of abuse, which is so isolating for victims, that people are not just cracking into it. But here we are.
Here we are, and it's just like we need a light shed on it even more because you can't like let people get away with it. Accountability needs to be there. honestly.
Yeah, and I don't know how. I mean, there's many things that to worry about right now, like really big existential, possibly world-ending problems. And I think we as a human race have to decide, are we going to stay the fuck alive or not? And
Yeah.
if we are, then this is going to be one of the things that will end up changing, I think.
So that hinges entirely on the relationship between two estranged sisters, Steph and Gigi. Why did you choose a strained sibling dynamic as a catalyst to disrupt Steph's tightly controlled empire?
Why estranged?
Yes.
Well, I think that we needed a setup that made sense for Steph to be reluctant to face the truth about
Mm.
the situation. And it's like we needed one big thing to change. And the one big thing was that she goes from not facing reality to then facing reality by the end. And
Mm.
if it was like the sisters were really close and then like they had a falling out about this and then they came back together to face reality, there was just like too many things. So I think the one turn of them going from distant to a little bit closer was the amount of change that we could tolerate in the script.
Okay. In your director's statement, you write about wanting to spark a new wave of activism that you call the primal scream. Visually and structurally, how did you capture an ugly and uncomfortable scream through clean cinematic framing?
Our DD Robert Newman is incredible, and he really just figured out. And our camera operator Blaine Dunkley as well, a friend of mine. They did just such a great job in figuring out what the movement was going to be to kind of swoop around right as the screams start to happen. The could have had a little more lighting in that moment, but that's okay.
Yeah.
No, the team was incredible, and we were working under such a furious pace to try and get everything in time. So I think the sound design from our guy David at Formosa, I mean, really, when you finish the film, you're going to be like, oh my God, the sound design is great.
Yeah. So the film highlights how two people can experience the exact same abuse or environment, yet develop completely opposite emotional scars. So now, was it challenging to give both of those perspectives equal weight and validation in short film runtime?
For sure. Yes. We see a little more screen time from Steph, who is the pro tennis player, but she comes in like very hot and heavy with her chaos energy. So it's kind of a good counterweight to Steph's more reliable, um, reserved energy. And I think that yin and yang was intentional from the very beginning.
Okay. And a massive part of Stuff's struggle is the fear of losing her endorsements, identity, and career if she breaks her silence. So why was it important to explicitly highlight the financial and institutional traps that keeps victim quiet in a professional setting or in sports?
Well, you said it. I mean, those aspects of how can I stay alive?
Yeah.
And if you're reliant on somebody for money, like in most domestic violence situations, there's also financial abuse.
Yes.
So it's one of the just top number one ways to keep control over somebody is to financially control them. And I was in a relation, I almost married somebody who was financially controlling me. And then that turned into other physical abuse. So it's just such an easy way in a world where men make more money. I know women are like on the up in America, but let's be real. Overall, globally, men make a lot more money for doing the same work and
Yeah.
have a lot more money. Like our financial systems and institutions are controlled by men. Let's not get it twisted.
That's true.
So, with that, of course, one of the levers of power that you can pull is, lady, what are you going to do? How are you going to
Mm,
survive? How are you going to make ends meet? So, I think one of the major things is to get financial independence so that you can leave when you want.
yes. Yes. And leave the emotional gaslighting, the financial gaslighting alone and stuff like that. Yes.
I love that term, financial gaslighting. It's so good. It's so good, and like no one's ever said that before. And it's like if someone convinces you that you cannot make money on your own, and you believe them. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I've seen it a lot, honestly, from my past life and stuff like that. So it's like very, like horrifying to look at. And then,
Mm.
it's just it's a lot of trauma. I tell you that. So your coach character is quite sinister in that he monitors stuff remotely via courtside via video cameras. Can you speak about using surveillance imagery to emphasize the constant panoptic control abusers hold over their subjects?
Panoptic, ooh, that's a good one. Well, it started with the idea of a Hawkeye machine, which is the cameras that tell you in a professional tennis game when you're out or when you're, you know, in the net or whatever. So, and they really scream out like in a real game, a big game, one of the Grand Slams. They're very loud and they sound really weird. But anyway, they sound like it sounds like a kangaroo or something like. But that turned into okay, well, she because they say fault, like if you're out, it says fault. You're like,
Hmm.
oh, what a perfect metaphor. So then that turned into okay, so she has a Hawkeye at home in her practice court. It makes sense that the coach would be watching through the Hawkeye as she's practicing. And whether that's a thing or not, we just wanted it to be a thing. And we're like, yeah, of course he would be watching her. And of course he would have access through all the cameras, through the Ring camera at the door, But these kind of they want that their eyes on you at all times so they can keep tabs on you.
Yeah. And it's a very weird culture when it comes to sports, in all sports, actually, especially women's sports, when it comes to abuse of power and it comes to surveilling, as to how I'll put it. And it's still happening today. It's still happening today. Even with like how you mentioned the Olympics. What was that coach for the USA gymnastics team, Larry
Larry
Nassine?
Nasser. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that was the stuff of horror movies.
yeah,
I don't know how many, it's like 100 girls, something like that.
yeah.
Just like unspeakable. But even the one
Sick.
who won gold for figure skating, she had a really weird relationship with her father as her coach
Yeah.
and had to break free of that and did and then won gold. So it's just I don't know what it's going to take to start to really get people to look at this and take it seriously and create personal safeguards within sports. But
Yes.
like, come on, can we just make that happen?
And yeah, and I think it's because the culture right now and everywhere well, it's became abuser protective. That's how I put it. Abuser protective. Everywhere.
For sure. Yeah. Yes.
Today, 10 years ago, it wasn't even like this. Yes, it was bad, but today, there's no accountability at all. At all. And some people know that they actually done the horrible deeds, and people will look at him like, okay, well, okay.
Well, for sure. And I get the sense that you're not too supportive of our current administration, but it's really making all of that much worse.
Yeah.
To see it in the highest office in the
Yes,
country.
yes.
It
I'm
just doesn't set a very good example, let's put it that way.
it doesn't. It does not even for the kids that don't know anything and they will look at him and be like, "Oh, maybe I can do this." And I'm like, "No, you shouldn't. You don't need to. That's bad." You know?
Right. That's bad. Exactly.
So you worked with editor Marco Rosas, whose recent work spans HBO's Winning Time and massive indie projects. How did this editing background in sports drama help build the tense psychological pacing of Fall?
Finding Marco was really a huge blessing. And once I met him and I saw his work, I started to relax. And I was like,
Mm,
okay, the film is going to be good because the wrong editor can destroy your film. And
mm,
the right editor can make a film where maybe there wasn't one before. So I
mm.
felt really fortunate that he signed on. He's really blowing up and starting to do just really, really beautiful, amazing things. So the fact that I got in with him on the ground floor makes me very happy.
So you asked about editors and films. So did you have to, was there anything that you had to cut or I'm like, oh, this doesn't belong in it. I don't think this fits.
Yeah, there was one line that I kind of missed where Steph and Gigi are fighting at the buffet and Steph says something like, "How can you you're how can you be so big and so small at the same time?" And I thought that was a cool line, a very sister line.
Yeah. That's something my sister was saying, actually. Um, you made an overt political connection between the themes of this film and real world events, specifically pointing out how heavily redacted the official public records around high level abuses remain. Do you view this film as a direct piece of political protest? I mean, I view it as a political protest, but do you view it as a political protest film?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I would like to only make film and TV projects that are political protest. Ideally, from now on. I mean, look, if you want to pay me enough to do a Nike commercial or whatever, sure. But I, in terms of my own work that I'm writing and really pushing to get made, how can we not? How can you make anything without message right now? It's like so much that's on fire that I think it's really important to put your weight behind what you're making.
A massive part of Steph's struggle is fear of losing her endorsements, identity, and career if she breaks her silence. Now, why was it important to explicitly highlight the financial institutional traps that keeps victim clients in professional sports? I know you mentioned earlier that, like we said, financial gaslighting, financial abuse, and all of that stuff, but and you said that you wanted to make sure that women not convey that woman needs to have financial freedom to break away from these things. Um, but is there any more that you want to add on to that?
I will say that women in tennis consistently are scrutinized in a way that feels really unfair.
That's true. That's so true.
Yes,
That's so
especially
true.
women who are not white.
Yeah.
They're just really put under they're put to a standard that men are not. And it can just feel so precarious to be
Mm.
a woman in sports. I mean, even basketball, it's like they're just held to a completely different standard.
Way completely different than like when, for example, Serena Williams, like she got frustrated like any athlete would and slammed her tennis racket. Why was there such uproar about that?
Yes, and literally, who cares? Like,
Mm.
who cares? So, men do that shit all the time,
Every
and
single day rage quit. It's like rage quit, rage bait, all this other stuff that they do, and like, oh well, he's just a man, he's just a boy. They do that. No, no, it's like we're athletes. Athletes get frustrated because they want to win.
yeah, and also like I am so bored by most women's tennis. I wish they were more like Serena. I wish they were more emotional and like violent, like the men. Like the men's
Yeah.
games, just to be honest, men's games are more interesting because of that, because they're so emotional. I'm like, come on, women, like let's, show us how you're feeling.
Yeah, like just show that competitive spirit, basically.
Yes.
So here we call a last shot lightning round to wrap up everything. So I'm going to give you lightning round type questions.
Great.
Shifting gears to our official last shot lightning round. First up, if audience take away only one central realization with the screen face of black, what do you want it to be?
The revelation is that nothing is worth staying with somebody who wants to hurt and control you.
Hmm, that's deep. What was the most challenging sequence to shoot during your production window on location out in Connecticut?
Things got a little crazy during the tennis battle. Um, Also, the tennis coach may or may not have been sent home prematurely. That didn't help, but that was a tough scene to shoot.
Okay. And you teach at Sundance Collab and run a creator strategy podcast. What is the number one piece of advice you tell emerging directors attempting to make their first boundary pushing short?
Spend a long time in development, because if you're going to be pushing boundaries, you want to make sure that you're pushing in the right way
Yeah.
and getting on the right side of the argument and delegate so that you help and don't hurt.
Okay. And last, where can our listeners and viewers watch or keep up with the film following its festival run here at Tribeca?
Thank you so much for that. You can follow at Fault Film Official on Instagram, and we're going to have more festival announcements there. And hopefully, you can come to a screening, and that will be in a theater near you very soon.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, okay, Misha, thank you so much for joining me today to share this vision behind this crucial piece of cinema, a political protest film, and for using your art to fight justice, inequality, and visibility. To everyone watching and listening, make sure you catch Fault during its upcoming Tribeca screenings and follow Misha's incredible work at mishacalvert.com. For the LSMG Ledger and the Last Shot Podcast, I'm Zachary Heneda, and enjoy Tribeca 2026.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you. Yes.